Hello everyone, welcome to the final Q&A ahead of game week 1 of the 24-25 season. My name is Az and I am joined by the lovely Sam Bonfield. How are you, Sam?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm a little bit
Overworked? Stressed?
yes, both of those things. A little bit. I thought I was fairly confident with my team.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
not. I
made 3 changes today.
As I'm all over the place again. I'm literally all over the place. I was fairly like, okay, I'm settled. I know what I'm doing. I'm happy.
So what was that accent? Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's have it.
Now I'm not like that at all. Now I'm like, oh my God. I need another 3 weeks.
It's weird that the Oscar Bob news has affected so many people's teams, even when they didn't have Oscar Bob.
I didn't have Oscar Bob, but now my team's gone into absolute rack and ruin, and it feels like it is a result of that.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about it, but like Luke says, we'll settle, but Eze to City makes me rant. And that's my worry, is that with Bob out, even though Eze doesn't play in that exact position, my worry is they're going to have to strengthen now, and it could be Eze that moves. And I'm thinking, do I want him in my team? So I wanted to go up to Gordon, but then I had to get another 0.5 from somewhere, so I've had to make like all these different changes.
I'm the same. I can't decide whether... I'm definitely going to sell Eze now on this basis of this news, but I don't know where to go. I don't know whether to go up to Jared Bowen. That's where I'm thinking.
Whoa, that's a left field pick. I haven't seen him in too many teams.
I know. I'm feeling Jared Bowen. Not in that way. Let's let's be clear. Probably does fit that stereotype, doesn't he? But captain now, isn't he, as well? Got announced as the West Ham captain today. But yeah, I'm feeling a bit of Jared Bowen love, actually. This has been growing this week. Don't really know where it's come from, but all of a sudden Jared Bowen
I wasn't expecting Jared Bowen to be talked about so quickly in this stream.
I don't know where it's come from but it's one of those where normally I have to trust my gut on this, because normally when I have a feeling like this, it turns into something good. But yeah, so I'm feeling a bit of Jared Bowen. But then I'm also thinking, there's quite a lot of 6.5s. Do I just drop down? It gives me 0.5 in the bank. It means I don't have to move anyone else around. So yeah, so all of this uncertainty,
yeah, you're panicking,
has been caused by Oscar Bob,
who
I've not owned.
I know, exactly the same. Absolutely crazy. Hi to everyone in the chat. We've got Don Julie. Hey everyone. We've got Jammer. Good morning. Or where are you dialing in from? Jammer. Stephen Ty. Hi Az and Sam.
Hiya.
FPL Rank Chaser. We've got Gwyn Evans. We've got about 246 watching live. Hello.
Lovely.
To all
Welcome,
of you.
everyone.
Welcome. Get your questions in. If you want to drop in a super chat, Sam and I'll make sure we answer it. Otherwise, let us know your teams, your dilemmas, your question marks, your captains, all that stuff, and we will answer as many as we can. Before we do any of that, though, let's talk about the sponsor for this week's Q&A, which is Sleeper. And for those who watch Black Box, you know that we're also partnered with Sleeper as well.
And FPL Family.
And FPL Family. We're all partnered with Sleeper this year. If you're not familiar with what it is basically an app which is looking to integrate kind of everything into one place. All your news, there's a draft game, there's a predictions league, which I'm going to talk about a bit more in a minute. So, and scores. There's even, I was talking to one of the heads today, and they were saying, I don't know if you've seen them like on some of there's some sites where you can watch like live and it shows you the action of the match and where the ball is. It doesn't actually show you the full game, but it shows you kind of where the action areas are happening. So they've got that and like a live chat as well. So you can follow like a 3 p.m. game, which we can't watch in the UK, but you can see like the action.
You can see where the ball is.
Yeah, see where the ball is, and you can engage with it with the other chat, which I think I've not seen that on any other platform before. So download Sleeper in the App Store or on Android and give that a go. I want to talk about the Pick'em game though. The Pick'em game is the predictions game essentially. So you're picking the outcomes of all 10 games. Use the QR code on the screen. Either zap it with your phone if you're watching this on your TV or wherever, or you can take a screenshot and then just follow the link through. Join the FF Scout Sleeper Predictions League. All you need to do is predict all 10 games every week, and there are monthly prizes and a total prize pool for the whole season of $7,500. So loads of great things to be won, loads of good overall prizes. Go and join the Black Box one as well. Go and join the FPL Family one as well. Join them all and see what you can win.
Yeah, it's great, and it's all free, of course, with Sleeper, which is the best thing.
Completely free, no crypto, no gambling, just a cool app with loads of stuff integrated. So yeah, give it a
Their draft game is wicked as well. I spent some time doing a draft league with some of our patrons the other night, and it's a really, really slick drafting league. I really enjoyed that.
And we're going to be drafting against each other, the Black Box versus the Family
Yeah, we are.
Are you and Lee doing it separately, or are you going to be one? You're going to do it together?
We have decided that we are going to collab, Lee and I, and we are going to have an FPL family team. I mean, goodness only knows the arguments that we're going to have trying to decide on who to draft. But
yeah, same with Mark and I. We need to make sure we video this with all of us in.
Happy wife, happy life. That's what I keep telling Lee. You know, if I want him, then we're having him.
We'll have a compromise. One Liverpool player for one Spurs player. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Let's take some questions from the chat. We've had a super chat already from Stephen Gallagher. He says, "Hi guys, Son and Havertz or Saka and Solanke?" That is a good one to start us off.
I bet we disagree.
Saka and Solanke. I mean, I've got one of these two.
Me too.
Yeah, I've gone. Interesting. What have you gone for?
Saka and Solanke.
Yeah, same. I was going to say, if you've gone for Son and Havertz, that would have been interesting. I think we said last time, didn't we? We both didn't think Son was worth it over Solanke, the extra 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I still don't think that. I mean, I think a bit of the community went into meltdown today with Postecoglou's comments in his press conference about Dominic Solanke's toe. He's fine. I've been watching him training today. He's running around like a good one, seems totally fine.
He's the kind of player that he can always have a little niggle and he'll always be fine. Remember last year for Bournemouth, he was like half injured for the whole season and still played every game.
I mean, it's his toe, for goodness sake. I think he's actually totally fine. He's played in pre-season.
Totally
he's full
fine.
Training. Totally fine.
So I did that.
Yeah, great. And I think he'll be fine. And we don't play till Monday evening as well. So he's had a full week of training with his new teammates and all of that good stuff. And Richie's not ready. I mean, he's back in some training, but he's not fully fit. And he's definitely not ready to start on Monday. So for me, Saka and Solanke, it feels like you've got the main man at Arsenal. You've got Pens there. I actually do think Solanke will take Pens off Son. I know that a lot of people don't, but I do think he will. So you end up with two penalty takers in that pairing as well. And you save a little bit of money because Havertz is a little bit more expensive than Solanke. So for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer with those last two.
I like them both. I don't. I would definitely go for Saka and Solanke, but obviously Son is Son. He's been doing it in the league for years, and Havertz had such a good end to the season last year.
And a good pre-season.
And a very good pre-season. But I think with Jesus knocking around, and I think with Solanke, you almost expect him to take that kind of not really talisman, but be the centre of everything like Kane was. And obviously Son outscored Kane that season, but generally speaking, I think Kane was a better asset than Son overall.
Yes.
I mean, Solanke isn't as good as Kane, so you could argue with that, but they're going to set up for him to get goals. So
yeah, I mean, you look at the amount of chances that Solanke got for Bournemouth in a Bournemouth team that weren't as creative, anywhere near as creative as the team that he is now playing for. I mean, Spurs will create plenty of opportunities for him. I think he'll score plenty of goals. He got 19 last season. He'd get 20 plus this season is my bet.
You do you though, Stephen. If you want to go for Son and Havertz, I'm not massively against it.
I don't think Son and Havertz are a bad combo, by the way, at all. And I think they'll be more differential than the other two. But my preference is just for Saka and Solanke.
Delia on the ball as always. Why are people transferring out Bob and Eze? What have I missed?
Bob's broke his leg.
Bob's broken his leg. Yeah.
How did you break your leg in training, by the way?
I don't know.
What are they doing in training that's meant he's broken his leg?
It is such a.
It's such a shame for him.
Such a shame. This is your opportunity. You're playing for Man City, and you're not going to get many opportunities to break into the team. And this is it. You've had a great pre-season, great Community Shield.
Yeah.
You've got, you're right. The right Alvarez has gone. You've got a chance. Like he could have got in the team and stayed in the team all season if he'd carried on the way he was playing. And now he's going to have to fight his way back into the team. It's so sad.
And it's if you come back the same because he's broken his leg. It's not just the physical recovery of the leg break. It's then getting back up to speed again. And
by that point,
City
City could be flying by that point, and they don't want to make any changes, and he struggles to break in.
And he's done it in a point where the transfer window is open, so they can sign new players. If those players come in and do well, it's then harder again. It's a real shame for Bob, but because of that. Obviously, everyone's transferred out Bob. Eze is because he was already being linked, and we all kind of went, it's a bit weird. And then we understood why. I think when the Bob announcement came, it was like, okay, that sort of explains why there was so much Eze talk.
It's the low amount of the transfer that's being touted, like the 60 million, was it 55 million, 60 million release clause? Like Eze's worth more than that. If you could get Eze for 55 or 60 million in today's market, I think that is a great bit of business. So. even though he's not that like-for-like right winger, they might, I don't know, it's just might just be a good time to buy him, and might just give them that little bit of an incentive to go out, because they could even push Foden back out to the right, couldn't they?
Well, they can, and they've got the new guy as well, haven't they?
Savinho's going to play
out there,
quite a bit. That's his opportunity now, rather than Bob's to
100%, yeah.
FPL Rank Chaser, thank you for the super chat. Which combo is best? Quansah, Eze and Pedro, or 4 million defender, Minte and Solanke?
4 million Minter and Solanke.
Already got Barco though, so it'd be 2 4 million defenders.
I don't hate that. Because you've got Harwood Bellis, who we know is going to play for Southampton. You've also got I always want to call him Mascara. It's not Mascara, but it's something like that, isn't it? The Wolves guy, who's likely to replace Max Kilman at 4 million. So there's potential there as well. Even already having Barco, I still think I'd go there. I think the problem with Eze now is that he is, if he stays at Palace, fine. But if he goes to City, I just don't think you want him. Pedro, I'm interested for your views on Pedro, actually, because you're rumoured to be getting another forward now. But Brighton have decided to go in for everyone in the last 3 days before game week 1. So you've just got a new midfielder. There was a here we go for him, I think, already. Now we've got another one. Yeah, now there's another guy, a forward this time.
Yeah, the Leeds striker.
That's
Rutter.
right.
Rutter.
Yeah, who was good for Leeds. So suddenly, João Pedro, at a point where we thought he would regularly start, has now got some good competition as well for that spot. And then Quansah, I think Quansah will start, but you've got Konate, who's also able to play in that position. So there will be some potential rotation. So the problem with those three for me is that it's fine if Eze stays where he is, but if Eze moves, you've then got 3 rotation risks.
Yeah, there's a few people asking my thoughts. I was very bullish on Minte's minutes and Pedro's minutes, and just thinking it doesn't matter. They've been such key factors in pre-season. But I mean, Gruder. I made that classic mistake of watching the YouTube compilations.
Yeah.
and I watched Gruder, and I now just think he's the greatest player ever, and he's definitely gonna start. So the question is, where does he start? Is he? I mean, he's a right winger. That's where he's played. He can play as the 10. So my thought with that was maybe that pushes Pedro up to the 9. And we see Welbeck drop out. But then
that's the conversation we had yesterday, or you were having with Lee yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I thought that makes sense. And then we've now paid for Rutter, and we've met his release clause. It's like, well, okay, that's 40 million. We're not going to spend 40 million on a backup. So now does he start at the 9? And then he's been talking up Ferguson today, Hertzler. And Ferguson was touted as being a £100 million player just a couple of seasons ago. Had a bad season last year, but before that, he was the next Harry Kane.
But he was in and out, wasn't he, last season as well?
He had injuries.
Yeah,
he couldn't really get a run of games. I mean, he scored that hat-trick against Newcastle, and then kind of fell off the radar a bit.
Does it feel like João Pedro is going to do what he did to us all last season?
That is my worry. I mean, João Pedro was such a useful player because he can play at the 9, he can play at the left, or he can play at 10. But you could almost argue that we've got maybe better players in those positions now. I mean, the 10 really, I think just behind the striker is where he's going to start the season there for sure, because he'll start game week 1 behind Welbeck. And if he has a good couple of games, then he keeps that spot, I would imagine. I don't really like him as a 9. He's not going to play on the left because Mitoma's there. So that's his best chance of staying in the team at 10. But there's definitely competition in that 10 spot for him now. And his work rate's been good, but he is the kind of player who sometimes is a bit of a luxury player to have playing. And when changes are made, he could easily be the first one off. So, yeah, I my stance now is that I think the Brighton attack is in the void.
All of them.
Unless you're planning to wildcard very early, so in like 3 or 4, then I think you start with Minte or Pedro, and that's fine. They will start the season, but there are subs coming. I just can't believe how many players we're buying. I've never expected this to happen, and we were short last year. So
I suppose you've got rid of Gross, right? So now we've got the manager's been there through pre-season. He knows what he's looking for now. Maybe is why it's taken so long for Brighton to suddenly decide they're buying everybody, which is what seems to be happening this week. But my personal view is that if you Harwood, Bellis and Solanke, they're pretty much going to start every week. So in that 3 combination, you've got 2 regular starters, whereas with the other 3, genuinely, I'm not sure.
No,
I'm not sure.
I agree. You never know. Kanate could come in, Eze could go off to City, and then Pedro doesn't start because the Rutter comes in at 10 or at 9. At least like you say, at least you know with those 3, they're going to start at least a couple of weeks. Although Minte is a bit of a gamble. A few people asking about Barco. Barco's fine. We've got potentially a new left back coming in, but he's very versatile, and our biggest weakness is on the right. So I think if he comes in, is almost certainly going to be as a right back to replace Veltman rather than replace Barco, who is like a generational talent who's had a great pre-season and looks key to what Herzl wants to do. I just can't see him being dropped, but I could be wrong. We've got options for sure.
I can't see it either, though. I just can't see it. It's so important to what you've been doing in pre-season.
Yeah. Okay, so we both agreed with Epo Ranches. We both think 4 million Minte and Solanke, yeah?
Yes.
Good. Well, we're agreed on 2 out of 2 so far.
This is weird. What's happening? Have we entered the Twilight Zone?
A subject says, why is Vardiol being ignored? I don't think he's being ignored, is he? I've seen him in loads of teams.
Well, there's a load of conversation yesterday, wasn't there, about the fact that he hasn't been as forward-thinking in pre-season as he was at the back end of last season, and how it was more about the wingers rather than the backs going forward. But honestly, my view on this is that Man City, a bit like Liverpool and other teams that have had a lot of players away on international duty and haven't yet had them back, is a lot of that is to do with the setup of the team as it is in pre-season because of the players that he's had available to him. And I think when his normal team is back, we'll see sort of normal service resume down those wings, and I would expect Vardiol to be forward-thinking and attacking. I have got Vardiol in my team, and I will not be selling him for anything.
I haven't got him, even though I'm here picking him up to say that. He's a great option.
You haven't got him? Have you got no City defence?
No City defence, no. And I do worry a little bit about... Well, I worry 2 things. One is I worry about not having a City defender. But also I would worry a little bit if I did, because they are short at the moment. They have lost
Well, they are
Bob,
for game week 1.
which is big. They haven't got Rodri back. We don't think he's going to start. Foden, so...
But then game week 2...
They're going to be back for game week 2. That's fine.
It's Ipswich.
Ipswich is a big game, but where's Vardiol going to play? Is he going to be marauding at left back again? Is he going to be at centre back? There's a bit of uncertainty around it where he's going to play. If it's Vardiol from the end of last season, you could captain him that week. If it's Vardiol at centre back, I'm less inclined to think I would do that. I mean, then it's West Ham and it's Brentford. I mean, it's a great set of fixtures for Man City, but I've got Trent. And I'm going to stick with that.
You? I haven't got Trent.
Stick with that. Yeah, see, it's one or the other, isn't it? I'm seeing teams with like Raya, Trent, Vardiol, and Porro, and I just think that's way too much at the back.
I mean, I've got Vardiol, Saliba, and Porro.
See, that's a lot as well.
I know. I'm
Who's
not
in
sure.
goal?
Henderson at the minute.
Henderson, yeah, okay, yeah.
No, Henderson. But then I'm not. If Eze exits stage right and Gahey exits stage left, I'm suddenly less interested in Hendo as well.
Yeah, that's true. I know, because they're getting absolutely decimated.
It's just an absolute collapse, isn't it, at Crystal Palace? I genuinely thought Crystal Palace would be European contenders this season, and now I'm looking at it going, well, if you lose Eze, Elise, Gahey, even Anderson is getting linked with them.
I know, with Fulham. I know.
I am like, honestly, what's happening to Palace? It's like a total.
Yeah.
It's like a fire sale.
Steve Parish is going to be rolling in it though.
Well, I know, but what the hell's happening? Like, if I was Glasner, I'd be like, where's my players going?
Where's all my players going? Yeah, that's the danger, though, isn't it? That's the danger of having such a good season and it looks so promising. And with Brighton, we lost Bissouma,
yes,
McAllister, Casado. We've lost Ben White, Cucurella. Your team just gets absolutely torn apart as soon as you show any kind of promise.
Yeah,
so,
every year.
Yeah, and when you've got Eze, Elise, and Gahey, I mean, they are 3 players who I genuinely think could play for any team in the world. So
agreed. Yeah, agree.
But in answer to your question, Subudget, I don't think Vardiol was being ignored. I expect to see him in at least 50% of kind of...
How many teams is he in? Let me have a look.
He's probably about 30% owned, I'd imagine, 25-30% overall. But I think within like the Scout and Twitter circles, I reckon it's probably about 50-60%.
Yeah, 33 point... Oh, I've just pulled my headphones out.
Yeah, so 1 in 3 overall. And I think that's higher within within the circle. So
in fact, in terms of defenders, only Saliba is owned by more than Vardiol.
Really, that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. Can Indian Devil says, is Trent a must-have? Konsa and Nkunku equals a minute's risk. You've been quite cool on Trent this pre-season. You haven't got him in your team now. I've had him in and out. I think when I made the decision to not go with Salah, that's when I decided to bring in Trent. And I think if you were going without Salah or Haaland, you've surely got the money to take a bit of a punt on Trent for those fixtures. If you've got both, then it is harder to bring him in.
I mean, I haven't got Salah and I haven't got Trent. I have got Jota.
Not worried about Trent?
No.
What's his ownership? 25? Yeah, 27.
I'm not. Weirdly. It's weird, isn't it? I just have no interest in having him. And I don't think Liverpool will be great defensively. I think that's the problem. I don't know. Like maybe it's because last season defensively they weren't great. Maybe I'm sort of blinded by the fact that last season defensively they weren't brilliant. They didn't keep a lot of clean sheets, and I got paid 7 million for this guy. And yes, there's attacking threat there, but I'm not convinced that they do that well defensively this season. I think they will win a lot of games, and I think they'll finish in the top 4 and be in the race for the title till right near the end. But I'm just not certain about clean sheets for them. And I get that you don't really own Trent for clean sheets. You own Trent for the attacking threat and the set pieces and all of that stuff. But there's Porro and Vardiol and Gabriel and all of these other guys.
Why don't you see clean sheets? Because I look at Slot, and I've looked at how they play pre-season, and I actually think he's a bit more pragmatic in the sense that the shape looks a bit more... I mean, Klopp was so fun to watch, and it doesn't look like they've lost a lot of that. They still look like a very attacking team, but I look at the defence and think it just looks a bit more solid to me. I mean, they haven't got an 8. They haven't got the DM, obviously, which is a problem. Robertson's out, but you could argue he's on the wane.
He'd be back in game week 2, I think, though.
Yeah, you would have thought so. But Konsa and Van Dijk are both very good defenders. They've got the best goalkeeper in the league. Quite easy fixtures.
I don't know. I don't know what it is as. I'm not sold on the Liverpool defence at all. Like, because I could get to Trent. It's not that hard for me to get there. I can free up some money elsewhere. But I just look at the midfielders and I think I'd rather spend bigger on them than I would on Trent. Because I think that they should get more attacking returns than Trent does. And I don't know. I am more positive about Trent now than I was 2 weeks ago. But equally, I'm still not there in terms of wanting to own him yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's a must-have, to answer your question, Ken Indian Devil. I think he's a good option.
I would agree with that.
If you don't have him and you've got Porro, Vardiol, Saliba, Wyatt, there's plenty of good premium defenders that are a bit cheaper. So I can see if you're using that million to upgrade elsewhere, then I can see it. As for Konsa and Nkunku, I mean, Konsa, I'd be very surprised if he didn't start. I think he is a very good player on the way he is on the ball. I think he's a next level up from Konate.
I agree. I just think in and around Champions League weeks there is a good understudy to Konsa and Konate.
Well, this is it. My point was going to be that I can't see him not starting, but there is always that threat of rotation. And I mean, Mark and I do our lessons learned every season, and one of the lessons learned is don't pick players game week 1 who might have rotation issues around them. And I think Konsa does have to fall into that category. We think he's going to start, but would it be crazily surprised if Konate started game week 2, game week 3 over him? I don't think anyone really would. So I would be picking players who are definitely now to start on. Nkunku, on the other hand, I think he's pretty safe. He's going to be playing up front, isn't he? Let's be real. They're going to build a bit of a team around him. He's not going to be on the bench. He's too important. They need goals. He's going to get them.
I think so. I mean, they've just signed Neto as well. I don't know. I haven't got Nkunku in my team at the minute. He might end up being the one that comes back in for Eze.
I mean, look at their forwards. I mean, it's Jackson, Fofana, Broja and David.
The problem is... Who's David?
Who's David? They probably paid about 90 million for him and he's on a 9-year contract. But
Well, Cole Palmer's basically on a contract till I'm retired, I think, at this point.
So funny. 7-year contract. Yeah, we'll extend that another 2 years just in case.
Yeah. I mean, I'll basically be retired by the time Cole Palmer leaves Chelsea. I like Nkunku. I have liked him all pre-season. I liked him since the game went live and we saw his price. My issue is Chelsea in pre-season have been diabolical. Like, they've not been good at all. I mean, I take that he's actually played all right and, you know, has got some goals and stuff in there, but they've just not been good as a team. They've got Man City on the opening day. The fixtures after that are better, but they've still got Man City on the opening day. I just don't know what we're going to get with Chelsea this season. I really don't. I don't think Nkunku's a minutes risk, though. I think Kwanzaa is, but I don't think Nkunku is.
That's it.
Nkunku will get the most of the game time.
That was my point. I think there's another conversation to be had about Chelsea and whether we want to be risking it early. I've had Nkunku in most drafts. He's now out of my draft.
Me.
But I do think it's a very good time to be playing Man City opening day at home. No Rodri. Crucially, they've got a point to prove because they've been a laughingstock the whole transfer window and pre-season, and you've got to hope that there's going to be a bit of a reaction from some of the players. But yeah, I think there's other good options, and this is all unnecessary because the question is he a minutes risk? And I think we both say no.
Yeah,
he'll play.
I'm
sure he'll play. Too important.
And he can play in so many places as well.
He can, yeah, and they'll find a way to fit him in because it would be crazy to leave him out, I think, given how good he is and what his potential is. We have a question from Taylor. Am I mad for going for Zinchenko? I love these streams. You see some names where you just... I mean, Zinchenko, I haven't seen him mentioned. Am I mad for going for Zinchenko until game week 4? Game week 1, he should start. Game week 2, I can play Hall. Game week 3, he's the early kickoff and I'd get a lineup. And it might be leaked. So what you're saying is you want to go for Zinchenko for 1 week... and then potentially never play him again because he might never play. Yes, you're mad. That is a mad move.
I've just got to look at something. Honestly, let me see this. Zinchenko. Oh, because he's 5. Okay. So my honest opinion on this is that Zinchenko probably starts game week 1.
Well, he could not,
2.
though. Imagine if he doesn't start game week 1.
No, I think he will, Az. I don't think he'll start Calafiori game week 1. I suspect we'll see him get eased in. I reckon by game week 3-4, we see Calafiori regularly starting for Arsenal and not Zinchenko.
Timber?
He's not fit, is he? No, I think it'll be Zinchenko.
Well, we think. But would you risk a 5 million option in Zinchenko, who you're only, at a best case scenario, you're going to have play for 2 weeks?
No, I wouldn't. Even that Wolves game, they might not keep a clean sheet. Wolves could score.
Imagine you get Zinchenko who gets 1 point in game week 1, and then you've got to bench him, and then he doesn't start. No, I just don't know what's the upside. The upside is a clean sheet against Wolves.
I'm just having a look at who the other five.
It's not for me.
Because in the other 5 million defenders, who have we actually got that could be better?
I'd rather have Van der Ven at 4-5 and just play him against Leicester.
I
thought you were saying nah then. I was like, what?
Van der Ven. My favourite. I'm going to Spurs Stadium on Sunday. We're going go-karting.
Nice.
Getting Mickey Van der Ven on the back of my shirt for the new season because, you know...
Yeah, it's the love of your life.
Mrs. Mickey Van der Ven on the back of my shirt.
Well, who would you pick for the first 4 weeks, though? Zinchenko or Van der Ven? I mean, you're very biased, but...
I mean, this is the terrible thing to ask me about the actual love of my life.
Take
Van der Ven out of it for a second. But if it was another Spurs defender, I would rather have a Spurs defender than Zinchenko.
Yeah, that was
because they've got Leicester who have got literally no players.
Well, yeah, exactly. Just pick Van der Ven, even if you want to keep him. At least he's going to start the first couple of weeks. You could potentially bring him for game week 2 as well against Everton if you need him. And then, Zinchenko, is what Niraj Sharma says in the chat. And I believe that. Big Tip says they want to put Zinni in games to sell him. Trust me. There is no way Arteta is going to risk playing a player in game week 1 just because he wants to sell them before game week 2. There's no chance. Every point is so crucial for Arsenal this season.
They want to win the league.
Of course they do. He'll play Zinchenko if he believes that Zinchenko is the right player to play left back in the game. And he's a good player, so I wouldn't be too surprised. Eno says no, move on. Yeah, fair enough. We had to $4.99 super chat though, Eno. We've got to give it the attention it deserves.
Yeah. Can't just move on.
I'll just move on. I think that's all the super chats. We do have 850 people watching live. Sam.
No way! People talking about me loving on Mickey Van der Ven. Why do they want to hear that?
which could be a record actually for the stream.
Nice. Thanks for watching.
I don't know if I've ever hit 1,000 before. Brian says, is White the most nailed Arsenal defender?
No, I think Saliba is the most nailed.
Yeah, Saliba and Raya and White are all probably similar levels, but Saliba has absolutely no chance of ever missing out at centre back. So
unless he's injured.
Yeah, I think White will play every game as well, but
I think he
could
probably
play
will
Timber
too.
one day for no reason.
Yeah, just for no apparent reason. But yeah, Saliba's going to play every week. So I think if you want the most nailed, you'd go Saliba.
Yeah, I think Saliba is the most nailed. But I would pick. Would I pick White over Saliba?
I wouldn't. I don't think the 0.5 is worth it. I know he's got more attacking threat than White and all that jazz, but I still think Saliba is the best pick.
Yeah. OP Talent has given us 2 super chats of £5 each and asked identical questions in each. OP Talent, that's very generous of you. I assume you didn't mean to do that. We'll answer your first one, drop another question in, and then we'll answer that one.
Don't super chat the second one.
No, don't super chat the second one. Just ask it. We'll answer it. OP Talent says Johnson, Vardiol, Rogers, or Robinson, Hall, and Minte with 0.5 in the bank. You were quite into having 0.5 in the bank on a stream a little while ago. You were saying...
I'm very into it.
Yeah,
very into it. Because in the early weeks of the season, people are madness. They are actual mad. But aren't they, as? People go mad. Like all the people that don't play FPL for the whole length of the season, like you, me, everyone watching this stream, will be calm. We'll take our time. I will guarantee you that on Friday evening, somebody... whoever it is, a Smith Rowe, a Garnacho, whoever it is that does really well in that game, will be up by 0.2 by the time Spurs play on Monday night.
Yeah.
Because people are mad and they move. And the thing is that means that for us, people that try and, chill our pants and be calm,
chill our pants.
I couldn't think of a better phrase. You get to Wednesday or Thursday and you go, okay, I want to make a transfer because somebody's got injured or whatever it is, or I don't want to do anything. I want to wait for game week 2. And suddenly you can't afford the players that you want without selling 5 players because you've got a free up budget. Whereas if you've kept 0.5 in the bank, you can be calm in the madness and move for players you want to, and you don't have to risk doing it early. So I am all about the 0.5 in the bank. I hate starting a season without money in the bank.
Well, this question is interesting because it's Johnson, Vardiol and Rogers, or Robinson, Hall and Minte and 0.5. And I look at Robinson, Hall and Minte and think, it's okay, but Vardiol and Rogers are very strong options. But then defence is already Barco, Saliba and Porro. So you only really need one more defender. Would I be happy to play Robinson?
Yes.
Probably, given the fixtures for Fulham. And that gives
Hall.
me the 0.5. Hall's a good option as well. He's a great option this week, particularly. If he starts. There's a lot of love for Hall.
He's going to start.
No worries that Livramento might just play there?
No, I don't. Well, Livramento play the other side, no?
Don't sound too confident. Yeah, because it's probably going to be Trippier on the right and Hall on the left. That's what we think.
Well, unless he doesn't play Trippier.
That's what I mean. Well, I don't think Trippier will play because he hasn't. Has he played any pre-season?
No. So Livramento and Trippier spot, no.
Yeah. So Livramento play on the right and Hall play on the left.
Yeah.
But he could not do that, and he could play Burn at left back or.
No, I don't think he will. I think he'll play Burn. I think he'll play Burn at centre back.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I also think Hall will definitely play, but I think a bit of risk.
The only chance that Hall doesn't play is if Gahey goes there. Because then he's got a conversation to be had as to who he plays out on.
Yeah, it's too late.
Does he play Burn or Hall?
It's too late now.
But it's too late for game week 1.
Yeah.
So you've either got to go with it or not go with it. But the thing is with this defence is that you've got Barco, Saliba, Porro. You've also got Robinson as your backup. So if Hall doesn't play and you don't want to play Barco, Saliba, you're always going to play Saliba and Porro. If you've spent that much money on them, you're just always going to play them regardless, surely. So really, if you don't want to play Barker, you can just play Robinson, no? So it doesn't really matter about Hall.
I think I'd go for the second option here because I think the 0.5 might be useful, as you've already mentioned. I think Vardiol, Saliba and Porro is too pricey in defence. I like Minte as a pick for the first couple.
Vardiol, Saliba and Porro, that's my defence.
Or you do Minte to Rodgers. Have Rodgers instead of Minte. Then you've got 1 million to spend around.
And if you're really worried about the Hall pick, then you just don't go Hall. There's so many other 4.5s. Go Van de Ven, or you've got Porro, so you don't want to do that. But go for one of the others instead. Go for a Konza or a whoever at 4.5. There's so many good 4.5 defenders this year that if you are worried about the Hall pick, you could just go for one of them instead.
Yep, I agree. Is there another comment from OP? Let me just have a quick look. I can't see one. OP, if you've got another question, you've paid for it, so feel free to drop it in. This is from Abby. Vard, Rodgers and 2-4 defenders, or Munoz, Minte or a 5-5. An upgrade. Oh god, this is so confusing. Vardiol, Rodgers and 2 4 million defenders. That's one option. Okay. Or Munoz, a 5-5, and upgrade one of the 4 millions to Hall and have 2 4-5s. So it's Vardiol, Rodgers and 2 4 million defenders, or Munoz, a 5-5 and 2 4-5s.
Okay.
I've got I haven't got Vardiol. It's a complete lie before I even go down that route. I prefer Vardiol, Rodgers and the 2 4s. Because I think the 4s are fine.
I think I agree. I'm sort of interested because the Munoz pick is also, if you've got Henderson in goal, I don't want double up of Palace defence. And I am worried about that Palace defence. If Anderson and Gakey go, I'm worried about it. I've got Hendo as my goalie at the minute, and I'm thinking I might not have Hendo as my goalie because, goodness, if they all start going, I'm just goodness me, it's not gonna. I won't cope if they all start leaving, and I'm just left with a goalkeeper with nobody in front of them. I also think that Rodgers and Minter are kind of.
So do I.
They're about the same. I don't see.
It depends on other defenders. I mean, if for 4 million defenders you're going to be playing one of them each week, then obviously it's not. But if you've got, Porro, like a Trent, Saliba, whoever, and then you're adding Vardiol to that, it's very different. But I just think you can get. I think Rodgers is a good pick. He'll definitely start. I think Vardiol is obviously a great pick as well, and then I think you can get away with Barco for at least a few weeks, and just get another 4 million defender in rather than. Don't know. I think having that premium Vardiol outweighs the others, personally.
Yeah, I'm there as well. Yeah.
Yep. This is from V1C. Nice easy one. Well, easy in terms of the wording. Saka and Salah, or Haaland and Gordon.
Oh my goodness me.
That's amazing, isn't it, what you can do with the money? Saka and Salah, or Haaland and Gordon. Oof.
This is actually the hardest question we've had.
Haaland would have to go big, I think, to justify not having Saka and Salah.
It's the Saka thing that's thrown me here. Because if it's a straight choice between Salah and Haaland, it's Haaland for me. But Saka, I so much prefer Saka over Gordon. Like, it's not even in the same league as to how much I prefer Saka over Gordon. Which would probably lend me to want to go for Saka and Salah. But the actual combination I'd like is Haaland and Saka.
We can't have Haaland and Saka.
I know that. But, I have to go against the rules of the questions.
Just give yourself an extra 5 million budget.
I've got Haaland and Saka in my team.
Have you?
Yeah. And Vardiol, Porro and Saliba.
I don't know why I sounded so surprised. I've also got Haaland and Saka. For some
reason
I was like, whoa, that's...
and you've got Trent. Like, you can easily do Saka
but you haven't got Salah.
No, I know, but have you?
Well, I've got Haaland, Saka and Gordon in my team, and no Salah.
I've got Haaland, Saka, Salah. No, Haaland, Saka, Eze, Solanke, Vardiol, Saliba, Porro as my very expensives.
I think you've got to look at this in what I've been doing, which is you don't have an alternative to Haaland in the City attack. There's no one you would pick.
Well, and Alvarez is gone now.
You do have an alternative in the Liverpool attack in Jota. So I think it's easier to justify not having Salah because you can go for Jota, who I think is a very good option early on. And then that allows you to have Haaland. Whereas if you don't have Haaland, you're going to have no City attack for Game of 2, most likely. Unless you move early for Foden. Which seems like too big a gamble. So, with that in mind, I'm going to stick with my guns and say... but then I like Saka as well.
I honestly think you have to find a way to make Haaland and Saka work.
I'm going to change my mind. Out of these two, I'd pick Saka and Salah.
Oh my goodness! I don't think you can go without Haaland as.
It's got Saka in it. I think Saka and Salah outscore Haaland and Gordon over the first 4 weeks. Because Gordon isn't anywhere near as good an option as Saka. And Saka and Salah are both almost as good as Haaland. Yeah, Saka and Salah.
Just find a way to get Haaland and Saka.
Sam, you have to pick one. V1C has paid $2, I think, for this. You can't change the goalpost. You always do this. You're useless. We've been doing Q&As together for 3 years. And you still haven't learned. You can't just say what you want and give options that aren't there. It drives me mad.
You can't come on here and say that I'm useless.
I work with the Premier League, damn it. Show me some respect.
I will give you an answer that I think, which... If you're making me choose one of these, I'll go Haaland and Gordon. But I honestly think you have to find a way to have Haaland and Saka.
Right, you don't need to add that second bit of the sentence.
Well, I did add that. I'm
making you pick between these two, and you're telling me you're going for Haaland and Gordon. Haaland and Gordon. Okay. Should we have a bet that Saka and Salah are out?
No, I still owe you a football shirt. I know.
You do owe me a football shirt.
Yes, I know I do, yes. My plan was to get you an England one with champions on the back, and then we lost.
Oh, that was a great... I wondered what... Because you said to me, didn't you, I've got a great idea for you.
Yeah, that was my plan. Nice. I was waiting for England to win, and then I was going to have champions put on the back of it, and then we lost.
You could put second on the back.
Or bridesmaid.
Always yeah. My mum called me that once.
Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore. Take that, Bren.
Yeah.
Right, last super chat before you need to go and pick up some kids, I believe. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved. Yeah, 900 people watching. Amazing. Matthew Kroll, Solanke and Gibbs White, or Pedro and Bruno Fernandes?
I'll give you an actual answer.
You've got to put Saka in here somewhere.
You're such an idiot.
Do you like that impression?
That was a brilliant impression of me. Wait till I'm on the stage with you tomorrow night at Fest and I won't give a straight answer. Solanke and Gibbs White.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one.
You can agree with me? Don't want to call me an idiot or make me make a decision or anything else.
I want to see what this United team is about. I want to see if they're buying more into what Ten Hag wants to do, if it's more of a philosophy, how the new signings bed in, how they like about Højlund and probably Rashford up front. I think we can just wait and see a bit on Fernandes. Pedro, I think, is a minute's risk now. There's no two ways about it. He'll definitely start game week 1 and could do well, but we don't really know. Gibbs White some penalties, corners, and Solanke looks a great pick. So, A for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'd go with the A. I mean, I think the one I'm watching actually is Garnacho at Manchester United. So I think I'd be more interested if you'd have said Solanke and Gibbs White or Solanke and Garnacho. That would have been a harder choice to make.
Yep. I like this from Adam Stevo. Sam says, Solanke and Bruno in. Very clever.
No, I'm not interested in Bruno Fernandes. I'll go with the Solanke one.
Very clever. All right, that's it from us. Thank you, everyone, for all of your support during this pre-season. It's been fun, hasn't it, Sam? We've done some Rate My Teams. We've done some normal Q&As. Done the whole shebang.
We've been everywhere,
Been everywhere. I know. And we'll be back on stage tomorrow at Fest. Hopefully, we're going to see lots of you who are watching or listening to this there. We've already mentioned Sleeper, but if you're tuning in late, do give them a try. Try out the Pick'em game, completely free to play, loads of great prizes, QR code on the screen. But Sam, I will see you tomorrow on stage at Fest. Can't wait.
Biggest hug ever ready.
Very nice, very nice. And good luck to everyone in Game Week 1.
Good luck, guys. Green arrows.
Green arrows for all. Well, there's no green arrows in Game Week 1.
Well, of course there is. You're either going up or down.
Well, grey arrows. It's just everyone's on a grey arrow, aren't they? Game Week 1.
Well, no, but as soon as the Man United game's played, then you're going up or down, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, good point.
So by this time next week, we will either have a green arrow or red arrows. I think we will never, ever have red arrows again on the Q&A. It's only green for you and me.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess if we're both 8 million after Game Week 1, then it might be...
after 6 million players that are currently registered, we'll be at 8.
Be very us. Right, see you all tomorrow, hopefully. And best of luck Game Week 1.
Bye, guys.